Hello, welcome back to Chicago Reacts, Americans Learn. My name is Colin, and today I am watching Wellington Strikes, Salamanca, 1812. This is, of course, from Epic History TV, and this is another video in the Napoleonic Wars series. I think we're reaching an end to the wars. Napoleon has had a few major losses, mostly in Spain, but he just had a bit of a comeback in Austria. So, yeah, we'll see just where this next video goes. I know we've got like maybe a couple more years before Napoleon's eventual downfall. But I don't know. If you're new to this, which I would recommend you go back and watch the other videos in this series as they are chronological. But I don't know much about this era, so I think based on the last few videos, it's going to be wrapping up here shortly. I do know that Napoleon gets exiled somewhere. I don't remember the name of the island. I do know that I'm like 95% sure it is an island. That's pretty much all I know. So yeah, without further ado, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And let's bring up the screen here, and let's get started. Spain, 1812. Just epic music right from the get-go.
1812, Napoleon's French Empire had 250,000 troops stationed in Spain, bogged down in a war that seemed to have no end. They faced a bitter struggle against the people of Spain, who'd taken up arms in a guerrilla war, as well as the remnants of Spain's field armies and an Anglo-Portuguese army under Lord Wellington. But French forces in Spain remained formidable and in firm control of the capital, Madrid, and most major cities. And the year began with another great French victory in the south, and a calamity for Spain. This video is sponsored by Audible, our favorite place to go for audiobooks. They have an unmatched selection of fiction, comedy, classics, and original content, all of which you can listen to on the go, on pretty much any device you can think of. Of course, we spend most of our time in the history section, and one title we would definitely recommend is Sapiens, the acclaimed history of our species by Yuval Noah Harari. It's full of fascinating and often surprising ideas, such as how the ability to gossip gave humans a crucial evolutionary advantage, and why the farming revolution led to a sharp decline in quality of life for most humans. And because it's Audible, you can brush up on evolutionary history while cooking, commuting, or doing nothing very much at all. Go to audible.com/epichistorytv or text Epic History TV to 500 500 and start listening with an exclusive 30-day free trial, one free audiobook of your choice, and 2 Audible originals from an ever-changing list. Thanks to Audible for sponsoring this video.
On that note, too, if you have any books regarding Napoleon or the Napoleonic Wars that you would recommend, put them in the comments. I might check them out. Suchet? Is that how you say that?
Spain and Portugal would become a graveyard, not just for young French conscripts, but for the reputation of some of France's most famous generals. General Junot, Marshal Soult, and Marshal Jourdan had all tasted defeat.
Jourdan.
Marshal Massena had been recalled in disgrace. Marshal Louis-Gabriel Suchet was the exception.
I was close, I think.
French generals in Spain were notorious for their looting. Soult, based in Andalusia, was probably the worst, reckoned to have stolen 1.5 million francs worth of art from Spanish monasteries and churches. As governor of Aragon, Marshal Suchet behaved very differently. He enforced strict discipline on his troops, punishing any who tried to steal or extort money from the Spanish, while treating local authorities with respect. He combined this hearts and minds strategy with ruthless military action against the guerrillas that was able to establish firm control of Aragon. In June 1811, after a particularly bloody assault, Suchet took the port of Tarragona, for which Napoleon...
So wait, the town or city he was in right now was this one here, if you see on the map, that starts with a Z? But, like, how did he pronounce it?
A particularly bloody assault to establish firm control of Aragon.
Aragon? Is that the area?
In June 18...
That? The Zaragoza? Aragon? Is that how he said it? Is that the right area? Oh, no. Oh, my God. I'm an idiot. I was not... looking at the map correctly, because there's clearly written in big capital letters Aragon. 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 No, that's not it. Aragon. Well, I think that was enough of a digression there. Let's get back on track. Excuse my ignorance. I did just get new glasses. I should be able to read a map more clearly.
11, after a particularly bloody assault, Suchet took the port of Tarragona, for which Napoleon rewarded him with his marshal's baton. The emperor then sent him reinforcements and ordered him to take Valencia. First, he routed a much larger Spanish army that attacked him at Saguntum, before he laid siege to Valencia. The city was packed with Spanish troops and refugees, and to avoid starvation, General Blake surrendered Valencia on the 8th of January 1812. The French took 18,000 prisoners, including 23 generals, and nearly 500 guns. It was a devastating blow to the Spanish cause. But to reinforce Suchet, Napoleon had stripped troops from other armies in Spain, and then withdrawn 25,000 of the best troops for his imminent invasion of Russia. The result was that French forces in Spain were now severely overstretched, just as Wellington prepared to strike.
Dang, that's not a very high praise for your troops there. We have in the service the scum of the earth as common soldiers enlisted for drink. Man, if that's how he felt about his own soldiers, I wonder what the soldiers thought about him. Interesting.
Spanish guerrillas kept Wellington well informed of French movements, and learning that the forces facing him in western Spain had been much weakened, he decided to go on the offensive, to strike a blow before the French could concentrate against him. On the day that Valencia fell, he laid siege to Ciudad Rodrigo on the Portuguese-Spanish frontier. Eager to take the city before Marshal Marmont could march to its relief, he ordered an assault after just 10 days. It succeeded, though Major General Crawford of the Light Division was among 300 killed. Wellington then marched south to besiege the much more strongly defended city of Badajoz. An assault was made on the night of the 6th of April. The first wave attacking the main breach were slaughtered. But what was supposed to be a diversionary attack on the city's castle with scaling ladders succeeded, and the city soon fell. The storming of Badajoz cost the British 3,700 casualties. In the aftermath, survivors went on the rampage, drinking, looting and raping, and killing more than 100 Spanish civilians, before British officers finally restored order. Wellington had secured the two main routes between Spain and Portugal, Now he sent his most reliable subordinate, General Hill, with a small Anglo-Portuguese force to destroy the bridge over the Tagus at Almaraz. This was a vital link between Marmont's army of Portugal and Soult's army of the south, as the next usable bridge was at Toledo, 90 miles east. The bridge was well guarded by forts and redoubts, but Hill led a swift and daring assault. The French defences were taken by surprise. The bridge itself and all the engineering equipment burned, for the cost of just 177 casualties. Wellington was now ready to begin his advance into Spain. Spanish regular forces and guerrilla bands began operations to tie down as many French troops as possible. While from the Bay of Biscay, Sir Hume Popham's naval raiding force made diversionary attacks on French coastal targets. In 4 days, Wellington was at Salamanca, as Marmont, outnumbered, withdrew behind the Douro River. But when reinforcements arrived, he crossed the river again. For 6 days, Marmont tried to march around Wellington's flank, but the British general matched him move for move, their two armies marching in parallel, often within sight of each other. But on the 7th day, Marmont blundered. On the morning of the 22nd of July, Wellington's army occupied high ground 4 miles south of Salamanca. Marmont was not interested in a direct assault. He still sought to outflank Wellington, threaten his line of retreat to Portugal, and force him to fall back. Around 8 a.m., the French won a dash for a hill known as the Greater Arapil, which Marmont made his observation point. The French army began to swing round behind him. Marmont had convinced himself that Wellington was an overly cautious general who would not risk attack. The hills hid most of Wellington's army from view, and when Marmont saw dust clouds to the west, he assumed it was Wellington's baggage train leaving Salamanca, beginning their retreat. But it was the British 3rd Division and a Portuguese cavalry brigade moving up to strengthen Wellington's flank, because he wasn't planning a retreat. He was about to attack. Around 2 p.m., Marmont ordered the 5 infantry divisions waiting in the woods behind him to march west, to cut off Wellington's imagined retreat. General Moukoun's 5th Division, in the lead, stopped to engage what was presumed to be the British rearguard.
I don't want to I don't want to interrupt the play-by-play with this battle here, but I'm looking down here in the bottom of the map, and I'm wondering, it wasn't mentioned, but you know, I'm assuming that's representing like a forest or like lots of brush or something. Were they, other than just, you know, setting up camp, were they using those trees as like cover to try to disguise just how many troops they had if the enemy had spies like looking over to try to, you know, get a count as to what they were up against, you know? So yeah, that would seem like a good strategy to me. Try to confuse the enemy with just how many troops you have. So I don't know. Were they using those forests there? I'm gonna say forests because that's what I'm guessing. Were they using those forests for cover, to hide their numbers, so to speak? Let me know.
In the village of Los Arapiles, General Thomier's 7th Division continued west past it. Wellington watched as the French left flank became increasingly strung out, and knew it was an opportunity too good to miss. He galloped 3 miles across country to the 3rd Division to give the crucial orders in person. Many of his staff officers struggled to keep up.
Okay, so that's throughout this video series, I've been kind of struggling to get a sense of scope, of scale on these maps. So I guess from Los Arapies, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I'm sure I am. Anywho, so from there to where Wellington just galloped off to, that was 3 miles, they said. So it looks like from Los Arapies and that hill that they fought for at the beginning there, it's about maybe like a half a mile or so. Also, how big was that hill? How high? How much of a advantage with the high ground did they have there? And I know the troops came in and hid behind. Did that also contribute to hiding their numbers as well? I don't know. I kind of want to get more of a ground level view, I think, of these battles here. In addition to this, bird's eye view with the map and stuff, I think it would also be useful to get more of a ground level view to see what the distance and scale of the battlefields were here, I think. But anyway, let's keep going.
On arrival, he instructed the division's commander, his own brother-in-law, Edward Pakenham, to attack and drive everything before him. Third Division's advance was hidden by low hills until the last minute. Thomier's division was caught completely unawares and shattered by the assault. Thomier's himself was killed, half his division killed or captured, the rest soon put to flight. At this crucial moment, Marshal Marmont was hit by a British shell and carried from the field. Ooh. Seriously wounded.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the blood splatter on this picture there.
Bonnet was himself wounded an hour later, so command passed to General Clausel. 45 minutes later, the British 5th Division attacked, supported by 2 Portuguese brigades and General Le Marchand's dragoons. The French saw the cavalry coming and formed square, but were hit first by the British infantry, who unleashed a close-range volley, then charged with the bayonet. The French were routed and charged down by Le Marchand's cavalry. French 6th Division was caught up in the collapse. Le Marchand himself was shot from the saddle, but his brigade had helped destroy 8 French battalions and capture 2 Eagles. Wellington's echelon attack continued as Cole's 4th Division advanced in the centre. But Pack's Portuguese brigade was thrown back from the Greater Arapil, and the whole division was soon falling.
Arapil. There it is. That's how you say that word. Los Arapil. I think it's the 2 L's get the kind of Y sound, right? PAs. Anyway. All right. Los. Yeah.
Back okay. In disorder. Despite the devastation of his army's left flank, General Clausel decided to launch an attack on the Lesser Arapil, the hinge of Wellington's position. If it could be taken, he might still snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. But the French advance was met by fresh troops of Clinton's 6th Division, who poured volleys of musket fire into the French columns. They began to fall back. The French army had lost the will to fight on, its soldiers streaming away into the woods behind them.
Run away! Run
General
away!
Ferré's 3rd Division mounted a brave rearguard action to buy the rest of the army time to escape, but it faced a hopeless task. It was soon outflanked by the British 5th Division, and Ferré himself was killed. Only General Foy's 1st Division escaped in good order. With darkness falling and his army exhausted, Wellington called off the pursuit.
Hmm.
Wellington had smashed Marmont's army, taking 7,000 prisoners and killing or wounding 6,000 more, a French casualty rate of 25%, and more than double Wellington's own losses.
Wow. Dang.
The next day, dragoons of the King's German Legion attacked the French rearguard and achieved the almost unheard-of feat of charging down a French infantry square and taking another 1,000 prisoners. Wellington now decided to march on Madrid, forcing King Joseph to abandon the capital and retreat to Valencia to join up with Marshal Suchet. On the 12th of August, Wellington liberated the city to scenes of wild celebration. Soult, now at risk of being cut off in Andalusia, abandoned the siege of Cadiz, which had dragged on for 2.5 years, and marched east to join Joseph and Suchet. The following month, Wellington marched north, pushing the French back from Valladolid and besieging the castle of Burgos. But his army lacked heavy guns, and the French garrison fought bravely. As powerful French armies gathered to the north and south, Wellington himself was now in danger of being trapped. He had no choice but to withdraw. Wellington's retreat turned into a desperate, forced march through autumn rain. The supply system collapsed, and many starving soldiers looted what food they could find from Spanish villages. Madrid was abandoned and reoccupied by the French on the 1st of November. Wellington was back where he'd started 5 months before. But despite the campaign's dismal conclusion, his strike into Spain had led to the liberation of huge swathes of the country, and left the French more overstretched than ever.
Man, I'm just like thinking of like particularly the people of Madrid, you know, going, I mean, just for the whole country being in the middle of this whole war, but going back and forth between, you know, getting conquered by the French, being liberated by the British, getting reconquered by the French. Like, God, what a dismal time to live in Madrid. Yeah, certainly would not want to experience that for myself. That's for sure.
Reinforced and resupplied, Wellington would be back the next year to deliver the final blow to Joseph's Spanish kingdom. 1812 had seen the tide of war turn, and not just in Spain, because 2,000 miles to the east, in Russia, catastrophe had engulfed La Grande Armée.
Yes,
Thank you
that's
to
coming
all
up
our
next.
Patreon supporters who've made this series possible. Visit the Epic History TV Patreon page to find out how you too can support our work and get perks like ad-free early access and votes on future topics. Liking this video and subscribing to the channel will also help us grow. Thanks for watching.
Okay, I think that's it. Alrighty. Okay, so I guess we are nearing the end. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just kind of going off of my last comment about Madrid. Yeah, for the people of Europe, you know, in Spain and Austria, all that stuff, like, I'm sure it is quite easy to lose hope, you know? Like, I can't even, like, speak to just imagining how terrible it must have been for a civilian to live during this time. God. Yeah, I guess it makes you think and be a little grateful for what we do have these days. You know, not to say that everything is sunshine and rainbows, but yeah. Anyhow, what a rough time war can be. Understatement of the century, but yeah. If you're still here, thanks for sticking around. I hope you're enjoying the series as we're going along. Hope you're enjoying watching me learn more about these Napoleonic Wars and how to pronounce Spanish cities. Um, but yeah, hope we'll see you again next time. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you want to be notified when these videos come out. So like, share, and subscribe to follow along. All right. Well, I'll see you all next time. Thanks again for sticking around and watching this video.